Hey everyone, this is Ruan, and in this video you're going to learn probably the most comprehensive tutorial about ClickFunnels online and how to exactly start making money with it, regardless if you have your own product or if you're promoting somebody else's product. You're going to be able to use this software, and I'm not an affiliate by any means, but you're going to be able to use this software to take traffic from whether that be Facebook, Google, whether that be Instagram, and convert it into a paying customer. And that is the goal with having a sales funnel in your business. Now, I want to go ahead and start off by saying that this is probably the most overhyped software I've ever seen online. There's a lot of places that can do exactly what it can do, but ClickFunnels has been advertising so much, and Russell Brunson, the owner in the middle there, he's been doing so much to promote the product that I simply just pay for each and every month. Now, before I get into this video, I wanted to go ahead and say that this is definitely not the most inexpensive option for landing pages. And if you're just getting started, it may not be the best tool to use. You might want to look at tools such as Lead Pages, Unbounce, etc. because ClickFunnels, for the price that they're asking, which is $97 for a single user, is kind of a lot of money, but it definitely does what you need it to do. The reason why I see so much value inside of ClickFunnels is because it offers such a range of different things. Now, let me get started and explain exactly what a landing page is. If you're not familiar with what a landing page is, basically what it is it's a website that's accessed by clicking a hyperlink on another page, but it's basically a page that is a standalone web page. For example, if you're taking traffic with a very specific offer, and let's say that this offer was $45 off, off your, hair extension, right? Something along those lines. If you have this offer, then you probably want to send traffic to a landing page that has that offer clearly stated. And this is exactly why ClickFunnels gives us the ability to do this very quickly, because instead of having to do a ton of development things on like a WordPress website or something like that, you're going to be able to do this all very quickly through ClickFunnels. Now, I want to make this very clear that WordPress and any other CMS that you're using out there probably has a ton more functionality than ClickFunnels does if you're a developer. But if you're not a developer and you're an idiot like I am that doesn't know a lot of code, then you're probably going to want to use a tool like ClickFunnels. Now, with that being said, I want to explain to you guys that there's a few different things about ClickFunnels that you should know before we actually get in there and start building out a sales page, right? One of the things that you should know is that ClickFunnels and all of these other landing page builders, they should not be used, right? And I'm going to make this very clear. They should not be used if you don't have a product or a service. If you don't have a product or a service, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to use any of these tools, and you're basically just going to be paying money to practice. Now, what I recommend you to do is to get a ClickFunnels 14-day trial and just start practicing, because in this video, I'm going to share with you probably the most that anybody shared with you about ClickFunnels online, and it's because I've spent hours and hours and hours playing with ClickFunnels, and I've used this for my PPC landing pages. I use it for a lot of landing pages, so let's dive straight into it. Right now, what you're seeing here is a ClickFunnels account. Now, to the left there, you have the person, you have visitors, you have pages, you have funnels, and then over here, you have page views from specific times. And then what you can do is you can look at the top here where you actually see ClickFunnels, you see Actionetics, you see Backpack, you see Help. The only thing that you really got to understand is ClickFunnels. You don't have to worry about Actionetics and Backpack. I use different automation tools to actually work that. But the reason why I like ClickFunnels is because it gives you a landing page, it gives you a sales page, and it gives you a membership area all in one. So if you're creating an online course, or if you're creating anything along those lines, or you're creating a membership access for somebody, then you're going to want to use ClickFunnels because it's going to allow you to get all three services in one tool. Now, to the right here, you have your settings, and I'm going to break down each and every single one of these settings, and then we're going to get into designing the sales page so you can start making money. Now, the first thing that you have here is domains. So if you want to set up a custom domain, you're going to have to go ahead and import your domain, or I'm going to show you an easier way to do it using WordPress. And then what you have is digital assets. So these are anything that anybody can download. These are things like favicons. These are things like PDFs that people can download through your funnels, etc. So you got to upload them first as a digital asset, and then you can put them into your sales funnels. And then what you have here is things like payment gateways, right? So if you're using Stripe as your bank payment gateway, then you're going to want to connect your Stripe with your ClickFunnels account before you even start anything, okay? And then really, that's really about the most important things that you're going to have here before starting out. But let's actually dive into the actual ClickFunnels portion of the website. So here you have funnels, contacts, sales, funnel marketplace, and build funnel. So funnels are currently the landing pages that you have set up. Contacts are the current leads that you have set up. Sales are the current sales that you've actually checked out for customers. And the marketplace is where you can actually purchase premium funnels, which you're not going to have to do because I'm going to show you how to build a highly converting one inside of this video. Now, before I actually begin and show you the nitty-gritty and show you the actual step-by-step tutorial of how to do this, you're going to have to ensure that you have the content necessary to actually build out a ClickFunnel. Now, the content that I mean is you're going to have some nice images, you're going to have some nice text, you're going to have some nice things, some nice content to actually put onto a page that you're going to be putting on for your ClickFunnels. For example, if you go to my actual order page for my course, this is all built out through ClickFunnels. And as you can see, it does look very nice because I have a nice background image in there, and I have this nice text, I have the logo, I have custom images, and I've really just took my time to actually make this page look really nice. So I'm going to show you how to create something very similar within here. So what you're going to first do is you're going to click on Build Funnel. And when you're clicking on Build Funnel, this basically means you're going to create a new landing page with a new thank you page, or whatever your sales funnel is going to be, however complicated you're going to make it, right? So what you're going to see is that you're going to be able to pick a funnel type here. For this example, I'm going to go all the way down to the blank funnel because we're going to start from scratch. And I'm going to show you how to build this without being a complete tech expert, without being an expert in ClickFunnels at all. You just have to know a little bit about the product, and you really just got to have a little bit of patience. So it seems like they don't actually have the blank one here. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on Collect Emails. And then I'm going to name this funnel Test. And I'm going to put this in a group called Test. Then what I'm going to do is click on Build Funnel. And once we do this, it's going to give me a ton of templates for me to use inside of Test. But before we actually go in and build stuff, what you've really got to understand is that this is the overview page of the ClickFunnels, and there's some important things to note here, okay? One is you can actually see the stats of your sales page, meaning how many people actually went there, how many people converted. You can see your contacts, meaning how many email addresses did you collect, etc. Then what you can do is you can also go to Settings, and inside of Settings, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to change either the name, you're going to be able to change the group tag, you're going to be able to set this actual funnel up with a custom domain. If you have any custom domains set up, here's the one for my course. And you're also going to be able to add your favicon URL. Now, if you're not familiar with what a favicon is it's basically that little item at the top of a search of a Chrome tab. As you can see right here, the AWW app, their favicon is that W. On my funnel, my favicon is my personal brand logo. And really setting that favicon up is just a small thing, small attention to detail, but I think it's very important. Here, you can add your head tracking code or your body tracking code. Now, if you're using Facebook traffic, if you're using like a Facebook pixel, or if you're using anything that's going to actually track this page, you might want to go ahead and put the head tracking code inside of here so it'll track it for the whole funnel. Rather than setting it up for each page, you can just set it up for the whole funnel. So every time someone goes through your funnel, they're going to be tracked by the Facebook pixel. Also, what you can do is you can actually give somebody who has ClickFunnels access to this funnel by just sharing this link, and you just want to make sure that you have your actual payment gateway set up, and you want to just go ahead and make sure that all of these stuff are set up if you have any of these things going on. So with that being said, that's just looking at your whole account overview. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to head over to steps, because here's where you're actually going to start building stuff out and you're going to start having fun. Now, to the left of the actual overview page, you're going to see that gray checklist that says launch checklist, funnel steps, and then you have your 2 pages already created here. Now, inside of this, you're going to be able to pick anything. And the goal for a landing page technically is to acquire email addresses and to acquire contact information. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this landing page template that my buddy Celine built. And what I'm going to do inside of this landing page template is I'm just going to show you how to optimize this landing page for, let's say, a PPC campaign, or let's say an SEO campaign, okay? And once you do so, you're going to get something that looks like this. You're going to get a custom URL. And what you're going to do is you're going to be able to edit the page. And let's just say that this was a template. What you're going to do is you're going to click on Edit Page. Now, when you go over to edit the page for ClickFunnels, you're going to load up the editor, and I'm going to show you how to simply create a nice looking landing page that you can use. So there's a few things that you have to note here. One is this is the sales page. This is a template, right? And 2 is that you have a few menu options at the top. One is you can check out the page and see how it's rendering mobile. If you're using a landing page for PPC for a residential type of business such as dentists, you're going to want to have a much more optimized mobile view than you are going to have desktop, simply because mobile converts higher for those types of niches. But you can also switch through to desktop. So you can see both. You can see mobile, you can see desktop. Now, alongside with that, you'll see that this right here says desktop only. So if I were to actually take this section here and actually see where it says the desktop only here, and now we're to move it to all, what's going to happen is in my mobile version now, you're actually going to be able to see this part of the actual landing page. So you can differentiate what's desktop and what's mobile. And this is very powerful to do because sometimes you don't want to show something that's on desktop because it may be too big for the screen and then to show it on mobile. So once you go into here, you can play with the sections, and this ClickFunnels really works in 3 different ways. One is the sections, and then it works in rows and columns. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this section and look at the settings that they have. So the background of this section is white. So as you can see here, I can change it to red, but I'm going to keep it white. Or what I can do is I can add an image in the background. This may be something that you want to do. This may be something that you don't want to do. Whatever it is, you want to go ahead and click it and show you exactly what it looks like. So as you can see, that's an image in the background. I don't want that, so I'm going to go ahead and go like this. And then what you can also play with is the width of the page. I'm going to be very forthright and honest with you guys. If you're working with desktop view, you're going to want to go to medium width. You are not going to want a full width screen like this. It is very hard for the reader to take a look. This is simply the reason why many people that create landing pages like this have just the medium width here. And that's very simple to do with ClickFunnels. You just go into settings for the section and you just go right here into width and just go to medium. Okay. And then what you're going to see is you're going to see the gray background, which is the master background, which is the total background, not the background of the actual section that you're playing with. And you're also going to want to do the same thing here. So this is going to look exactly the same as you can see. I can change the background color. I can change whatever I want. But more importantly, I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that the background color is back up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the width to medium here. So now as you can see, it's a straight down, much easier to read experience for the client. I'm also going to do the same thing here, and I'm just going to make it medium. And this is how you just make the sections smaller, or this is how you just play with the sections to ensure that you're working with a page that you want to look like. And, you know, this took me a little while to figure out how to use ClickFunnels very accurately, but luckily you have this video. I didn't really watch this video when I got started. So take a look here. And now what we have is we have a nice in the middle section for desktop view, okay? Now what you're probably wondering is, okay, well, what do we do with the gray space in the background? And really, it's up to you to change that. So what you can do in settings over here at the top is you have a few different options. You have integrations, which means if you have a MailChimp account or if you have an Aweber account or a Constant Contact account, you're going to be able to actually integrate your email autoresponder with this tool, and you're going to be able to actually just send out email automation sequences. And the way that you do that, I'll show you later in the video, is by setting up an integration with your website, with your ClickFunnels, and having that integration play into your role, right? Okay, so then the other thing that you're going to want to do is edit the SEO metadata. This is very important because a lot of the times, if you search for, let's just say, Ruan Marino in Google, a lot of the times what you're going to see is you're going to see that, I'm going to show you exactly what the SEO metadata and the title is, right? So this is what they mean by SEO metadata. This is my ClickFunnels page. And in here, you can see right here that this is the title of the actual page. So if I wanted this to be the title of this, you know, I can go ahead and enter in my title here, right? And the reason why you want a good title for your website or for your ClickFunnels is because when you go up at the top right here, this is what the people are going to see in your title tag. And then in your meta description, if you're allowing this ClickFunnels to show up in the search engine, you're going to want to just go ahead and enter a test meta description here. And basically what that's going to do, what that meta description is it's this little description right here that explains exactly what your website is about. So that's how you edit that. A lot of people don't even know that, but it's very true. You can do that. And then you can also change the author name. And then as you can see here, there's an image set for when you actually share this link. Obviously, we are not, you know, a dental course, but as you can see, the title tag that you pick and your meta description that you pick will be how you share the link online. So that's how you do that. That's how you take care of that. Very important thing to take care of right away. Tracking code, I've already showed you how to add the overall tracking code for the campaign, but if you're using things like heat maps, or if you're using things like, it doesn't, whatever you have to add your header code to, this is exactly where you do it, regardless if that's a Facebook pixel, conversion pixel, whatever you're using, it can go right in there. And then custom CSS, this is if you want to add some custom code. I generally stay away from that unless I have a developer working on it. Now what you're going to do is you see this little space back here. You're going to go ahead and click on background. And on background, you're going to be able to pick your image or your color. As you can see, I can change the background color to this, and that's how it'll appear. Or what I can do is I can just make it white again. Regardless of what you're doing, you're going to want to make sure that your background is completely legitimate and it looks cool, right? So if I go here and I go to background and I just go to some of the images that ClickFunnels has to offer, you'll see that they have background over here. So you can actually add a nice looking background to your ClickFunnels page just by doing this. Or what you can do is you can search images using their thing. So let's just say I looked up dental, or let's just say I looked up dentist, or anything along those lines. Well, now what I can do is I can take a practices, thing here. As you can see, let's just use this image for say. Let me find a better image just so it looks a lot nicer. Let's say this one. Now, as you can see here, ClickFunnels is going to give us a picture in the background of dentists working, which is awfully cool. Now, you'll see that it's a little blurry and the picture doesn't fit. And a lot of the times you'll also get things that look like this, which is just like your picture, your background being transparent. But you can easily fix that by going into the section, by going into here and see where it says background color transparent. You're just going to make sure that it's all the way to white. And right here is where you change the transparency of this background. So then you're also just going to make that white. Now this is like a cream color. There you go. There's white. And now you'll see here that you have your full dental background with your dental image in the front and this nice little slab of content that you can do, which we're going to talk about how to edit in a few seconds here. But let's talk about the background once more. As you can see, it says full center fit. Just do full 100% width. A lot of the times that'll solve the clarity issues, but it looks like this image just isn't sized right for this actual background. But let me take a look at one more thing here. No repeat. No, that's not good. Okay, so keep it at full 100% width. You know, that looks decent. It doesn't look great, but it looks decent. And then down here is where you really start to edit your ClickFunnels. Now, as you can see the blue here, this right here is a row. And a row is basically what you put content in. You put rows inside of a section. So if I wanted to add another section, I would click here, and then I can add a full width section. Now this full width section, as you can see, is going to take up the whole screen. And you can edit that by simply going in here and just making sure that it's not full page, but instead that it's medium. So if you wanted to go ahead and stick with your branding or stick with the page branding, what you would want to do is you would want to add a new section, but instead of doing a whole one, you want to just go ahead and stick with medium. And as you can see, there's no background. So when you go into here, you're just going to want to go ahead and make sure that you have a background color set for your actual background so you don't see the transparency unless you want to see the transparency. You can get really creative and you can get really unique with ClickFunnels, but I recommend that you just keep it like this, right? Then once you're there, you're going to see that you can add a new row. Inside of your section, you can add a row. Now here, you can have a few columns depending on how you want it. And this really depends on what you're going to be adding to the page, right? So for example, let's just say that I wanted to add, 6 columns, let's say, right? And this would be 6 little icons that I can add into here, little elements. And these elements can be pictures, they can be text, they can be audio files, they can be videos, whatever it may be. You're probably not going to want to add videos to 6 sections like this, or 6 rows or columns. But you're going to want to make sure that you can, create this kind of stuff, right? And editing is super simple on the ClickFunnels. All you have to do is you have this little side right tab. You can clone, you can save. If you decide to save, it'll save under your page templates, which is really cool. And what you really want to do is you want to go in here and you want to start playing with the tool. And changing the headline text is very easy. Changing any of this text is very easy. This is a form submission that you can do with ClickFunnels, so you can actually create a form and actually get people to go ahead and submit their information here. But really what you want to do with this page is you want to have a very clear, the goal of the ClickFunnel is to have a very clear call to action. So as you can see, this one right here for an Invisalign campaign, it all starts with a free Invisalign consultation, and the offer is right here. $500 off your treatment if you qualify. To fill out the form below and get started. This puts the user at ease, and it puts the user in action, I should say. It doesn't put them at ease. It puts them in action, and they have to submit their information because they're going to want to get a consultation on Invisalign. Now, the more the merrier with some of these landing pages, especially if you're using it for PPC. But if you're using it for just like a simple email capture page, then you're probably not going to want to have a form like this. You're probably not going to want to have all this information. It might just be as simple as getting the data in running. But really, this is what it's going to look like, and this is how you can edit it. So editing the form is very easy. You just click over a form, and then it'll ask you your input type, and you can choose first name, last name, whatever it may be. You can also choose that it's required, and you can edit any text mobile size by going into actually, playing with this type of stuff. So right here, you'll see that this picture is desktop only, and I'm sure that there's an image for mobile only. Going down, what you've seen here, this was created with two columns, and one column is to the left, which is just an image of the dental spa. There's a header here, and then there's a text here, and the text is black right now. And if you, this right here is bold. So if you bold anything, I have it set on the sales funnel that you're actually going to bold and it's going to turn green. And you can change that by simply clicking on the sections here. And then what you can do is right here where it says bold color. Well, let's say I wanted to this be like a nice red. I can do that. I can change it. I can change it this way, that way, this way, whatever it may be. And then it's just really nicely to know that when you start typing, you know, in regular, start typing regularly, okay, it's going to be in black, or you can change that as well. I can go in here and I can click on these settings and I can make this text color red if I wanted to. I can make it, you know, yellow if I wanted to. I could really make it basically anything. But what I'm going to show you is how to create a nice looking section, right? Because as you can see right here, this blue section has no background. It's technically just a white background. Well, if you go to settings, and this is one of my favorite tricks in terms of landing pages, and you click on an image and you put that image there, what you're going to see is that it looks really funky this way, and it doesn't look nice, right? It looks kind of weird how it's like that. But what you're going to do is you're going to basically go into here. Let's go right here, and you're going to change the text to make sure that it's white. And I'm going to show you how nice this can look with a black overlay and a white text in just a second. But once you make these changes, you're going to make this very readable along with branding behind it, which is really good because you want to have branding on all of your landing pages as much as possible. And this means their email information, or this means their, you know, their logo, their colors. You just want to have everything consistent with all of the landing pages that you ever do. As you can see here, I'm going to go to white, and I'm going to change the transparency back up. And as you can see, it's starting to unfold pretty nicely. You can keep it green. It's up to you. I'm personally going to make it probably yellow because it shines better. If your branding is not yellow, make sure that it's not yellow. But as you can see, look how nice that looks, right? So now when I save this and when I preview this page, you know, it's not just going to be a white background on this actual medium-sized thing here. You're going to see that this looks very nice. It's very readable. You know, it's not hard to read, and people can actually see this here, okay? So that really explains it, how to do that part, which is just adding a nice little background and some white text over it to make it look really nice, okay? So let me go back into it, and let's talk about some other things here, okay? With every ClickFunnels page, you can have what's called a pop-up, and a pop-up basically shows up, and it's something like this, where basically, like, let's say I clicked this button, and when you're working with the buttons, you can have it submit something specific. So let's say I'm working with this button, and it's right here where it says Edit Action. Well, right here I can click on Set Action, and I can do Open Pop-up, right? Open the pop-up. Now what's going to happen is if I save this page and I go ahead and preview it, ClickFunnels is actually going to open the pop-up for me, so I can actually edit the pop-up if I want to, right? So boom, there's the pop-up. I don't have anything there. So you can actually create stuff with the pop-up here, and you can also edit the settings, meaning that you can trigger on user exit. And this is so important to do because when somebody tries to leave your landing page, there should be some type of trigger where your funnel knows that that person's trying to exit the landing page, and something pops up just like this, and it basically tells them to stay on the website so they can get something of value or whatever that may be. So let's do that. And now what we're going to do is we are going to edit this. So we're going to add a row just like we did before. And this row is just going to be a header. And it's going to say something like this. Okay, something like that where it really calls out that the person's leaving the website. And then what you can do is you can add like an image here. You can add a call to action or something along those lines just to get somebody to like not leave your website as much as possible. Because if you're paying for traffic, you know, especially if you're paying for traffic, let's just use like, I don't know. Let's just use like this picture right here. You know, leaving early, you know, here's a picture. I don't know, get access to my best, converting funnels, whatever it may be. So then once you do this and you click on preview, what you're going to see is that when you try to leave this sales page, you're going to get the exit pop-up intent. Or when you click on this button, you're also going to get the pop-up. But as you can see here, as I get close to the X sign, this pops up. So that's how you add this pop-up button here. And then there's also some cool advanced things that you can do with ClickFunnels. Like right here, if you didn't want this button to show up, you can click on this button. You can go to advanced. On every tab it has advanced, I'd recommend that you look at that. And you can go to animation. So meaning this button won't show in unless you want it to show in within 5 or 10 minutes. This is great if you're doing webinars. This is great if you're doing training videos and you want to make sure that somebody doesn't click through to your other page right away before even finishing the training. So you can actually hold this button back from people and actually get them to, keep watching the video, because a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll come to your funnel and they'll actually just want a funnel hack. They won't even want your product or your offering. They'll just want to funnel hack your funnel. And I hate that so much. So that's why I make sure that my buttons are not always readily available. I'll make sure that you have to watch the page to ensure that, or you have to watch the video to ensure that you're qualified to even go to the next button. So if you're doing like a video training or if you're doing a webinar and you're teaching like an abruptly long video, let's say you're doing like an hour-long video and you want to have a time delay, meaning like when the button fades in and when the user can actually see the button, that's when I recommend that you use this fade in feature, and it'll give you so much swag that it's going to be awesome. That people are going to be like, wow, they're not letting me buy this already. Well, what the hell, blah, blah, blah. And then also with buttons, you'll see that they have themes. So I can make this a nice dark green button with that nice effect there. Or what I can do is I can go ahead and make it, this nice dark blue or this nice dark orange. They have a few different options that you can use, and it's really up to the branding that you're trying to persuade people with on how to do this, or the branding that you're trying to use. And at the end of the day, use what's good for you. Don't use something that's not going to make sense. Don't use something that doesn't, coincide with your brand. Don't use different colors. As you can see, like the green and the yellow looks really weird because it's all branded here, but then you'll see that there's a lot of yellow stuff here, which doesn't really make sense. So you want to make sure that the page is fully branded when it comes to ClickFunnels. And once you're done like looking at these buttons and playing with a lot of these features, I'm going to get into a little more of the advanced features as to how you can actually make money with this stuff and doing this. So now that you've really figured out how to create a little landing page, now what it's going to come down to is driving traffic to your landing page, okay? So when you're driving traffic to your landing page, for example, I want to show you my landing page. When you're driving traffic to this page, what your goal is to get people to convert regardless of what you're trying to offer. So there's a value ladder that you've really got to understand here before actually launching ClickFunnels and before actually building this stuff. And if you're using somebody else's product, I'm going to show you exactly how to sell it and how to use ClickFunnels to sell it. So regardless of the situation that you're in, you're going to need something to sell, and you're going to have to figure out a value ladder. For a lot of you guys watching my channel, you probably come to this page and think that I'm chaotic offering a course for $9.97 when you really haven't seen anything else of mine other than my YouTube channel. This is why like a most popular ClickFunnels landing pages, they offer what's called a value ladder, and this value ladder is meant to get people to walk up the pieces of the funnel. For example, if you start here in the value ladder, this might be where the value is very low, but you're selling a $7 product, okay? Well, once that person has purchased that $7 product, they've kind of gotten a feel as to how you operate your business, and then what you can do is you can make them an offer for, let's say, a $197 product, okay? And this is called a one-time offer, right? Or an upsell. And then once you have that, you can really scale up, and once somebody's purchased 2 of your things, then you can go with the $997 product or whatever that may be. This is one example of a value ladder that you can use for paid purposes. What I'm going to show you next is using a value ladder with just an email subscriber and how an email subscriber actually turns into a customer over time. So one thing that you have is your opt-in page. And your opt-in page, just like I showed you right here, is your machine, and it's your lead generation machine for actually collecting emails. And once you put in information into your actual opt-in page, what you're going to start receiving is you're going to start collecting leads, or email addresses as we call it. And with these email addresses, you're going to create a database of information. So I want to show you very quickly how this can work for you and how this actually makes sense. So right here you have your opt-in page, right? And your opt-in page is promising a free PDF cheat sheet. And this free PDF cheat sheet, let's say, is being seen by Facebook ads. So this free PDF is getting traffic by Facebook ads. So now that we know that we're collecting in leads with Facebook ads, or we're collecting in leads with Google PPC, or we're collecting leads with SEO, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you can have a sustainable flow of traffic. Because the goal with your landing page is to test it and make changes over time to actually convert people into buyers. So now that you have a free PDF checklist, what you now have gotten is a potential customer. Once somebody goes onto your page and once they enter their email to get their free PDF or free checklist or whatever you now have an email list, which I don't like to call as an email subscriber. Many people do, but I like to call it a potential customer. And this potential customer has the ability to buy from you. They're clearly interested in what you have to offer simply because they've already downloaded your free PDF. They're way more interested in your product because they're on your landing page, and now they're getting the chance to see your thank you page. And once they get the free PDF checklist, this thank you page is when you can really shine and start to put them up your sales value, right? If you're taking freezing cold traffic from Facebook or YouTube or Google, right, it's likely that they're not going to give you money right off the bat. Now, you've given them this free PDF checklist and you say, hey, why not? For $7, I'm going to show you how to implement the checklist, right? So for $7, I'm going to show you how to implement that checklist that you just download so you're not confused and you can actually know how to do this. And this is going to be all in the form of free video training. Or it's not free. This is going to be $7 video training. And it's going to show you how to implement the PDF checklist that you actually just bought. So this right here, you can see that the person is not paying for the PDF. They can see how to do it, but now they may want to know how you do it. And then once they buy this $7 product, you can say, okay, you know what? Why not? For $197, right? And this is all being built inside of Clickfunnels. For $197, I'm going to show you how to scale the implementation. Okay, so for $197, I'm going to show you how to scale the implementation. Because now what they know is they've seen the free PDF, okay? This is where they've paid nothing. Then they've paid $7 here to show the implemented checklist. Then they've paid the $197 to show them how to scale the implementation of the checklist. Then what they might pay, and guys, this is just an example, these are not actual prices. Then they might pay $997, right? They might pay $997 for you to personally coach them throughout the process, okay? This is just an example, guys. This is not an actual offer or anything like that. And you really want to make sure that your offer makes sense to your target audience that are landing on that landing page. This is all built out through Clickfunnels. So as you can see right here, I want to visualize this stuff for you guys, okay? So right here, we have the free offer for Invisalign. So right here, the customer, the person landing on this journey, on this page, is right now at this free PDF point where they're kind of at the top of awareness of the funnel. The top of awareness, okay? Top of awareness. And then they're going into this portion right here where they're saving, $500 off Invisalign. And this is kind of where this funnel stops, right? If it were to go further, you can also offer a teeth cleaning discount, right? You can offer a teeth cleaning discount. And then if they were to go even further, you could potentially offer them some type of scheduled maintenance or something along those lines. I don't know what the dentist value ladder is. That's not really my specific niche. But with that being said, you really got to understand this, okay? So at the top of awareness, this is the customer. They're at this page and they're at the top of awareness of that ad. And then what happens is they go to the second page. So right here where this thank you page is this is kind of like where you can do your OTO. This is where you can do your one-time offer. This is where you can do basically anything that you want to do with the client on this thank you page. And this thank you page right here is where you have the opportunity to tell your client to take an action, or you have the opportunity to tell your client to buy something else. And once you have them on this thank you page, it's so important that you leave a message on it, simply because you want to make sure that the right expectation is set after they submit that information in as a lead. So this video right here, I'm going to show you one last thing, and that's going to wrap this up for basically everything that you need to know about Clickfunnels in one video, right? So one last thing that I'm going to show you is how to integrate a MailChimp or some type of email automation responder in very quickly. Because if you're collecting leads, you should have an email automation responder going out and emailing the clients that have put in their information for the leads to deliver either your PDFs or your services or your videos, etc. So right here inside of settings, there's integrations. And inside of integrations, you can add a ton of integrations. You just have to click on plus new integration. And once you do that, you can connect an API key. Now, there's a lot of different things that you can do here, so you can integrate pretty much everything. But let's just say we wanted to integrate a ActiveCampaign API. So if I have an ActiveCampaign account, I'm going to go into the ActiveCampaign. I'm going to just title this here, Okay, then I'm going to type in my API key, right? Whatever that API key may be. This is just an example. Once you've done this, once you've added this integration, you're going to be able to go back into your funnels. You're going to be able to go back into your actual sales page, and you're going to be able to add that integration or that API in to make sure that whenever somebody does submit their information into Google or the form, that you're making sure that you have an automated responder going out and making sure that this message gets delivered correctly. So when somebody fills out this form right now, if you don't have an automation responder set up, it's just going to be a form that's filled out, and it's just going to hang out in your contacts inside of ClickFunnels. But if you go here and you go to settings and you go to integrations, you can go here and select an integration. So right here, I'm just going to select this integration. I'm going to click on add to the list, and then, add them to the list. It's really that simple. And then once they go onto that list, my email automation system is trained to set off a trigger of 12 consecutive emails for this dentist, let's say, an example, using this integration. So once somebody's added to the list, which is basically what we're telling ClickFunnels to do for that person, they're going to see a series of automated emails coming into their email box from this funnel. So I hope that this video has really made sense for anybody that's starting to look to use ClickFunnels. I personally recommend it, but like I said, unless you have some cash flow coming in, I don't recommend it. And hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.